Oh, there's the time up there. Good morning, people. This is Tony Reno coming at you from Two Will for Fun from lovely, wet Vicenza, Italy. For those of you who are following me on Facebook and Instagram, um, as you know, I'm getting ready to leave Sicily, and before I depart, I figured I'd do one more Swiss Alps tour. Unfortunately, Michael Karen couldn't join me on this one due to military obligations. I'll just leave it at that. My man, you are missed. I was going to head. Oh, first I need to start out. I'm doing this from my room in the Vicenza Hotel, so I am without my fancy editing gear. So I'm going to try to do this in one take with as minimal amount of errors as possible, just like that one. I don't know if it's going to work because I've never done it this way, but here we go. And as again, all that smacking of the lips, I'm going to try to stop that as well. It is raining. It's raining very hard. There's a big storm front coming in today, so I've opted to stay in this room one more night, and we'll see how the weather looks tomorrow. According to the radar, it looked like it's moving through and out, so I should have good travel tomorrow, sunshine and whatnot. But I figure since it's been a while since I've done a video, and I need to put one out before I lose the few subscribers I have. This is kind of a do and don't, or do's and don't of motorcycle traveling. Not necessarily when you're traveling in the Alps or on a one-day trip, but it can be used for any motorcycle occasion. So it's kind of do's and don'ts. So if you're interested, stick around. Again, this is Tony Reno from Two Will for Fun, a site I created for the simplicity of the ride. So here we go. Do's and don'ts. The first big one, and this is something I experienced yesterday, and I say yesterday, but this was after 3 days of travel. Been on the road, saw some amazing sights, got the GoPro hooked on the helmet. Not this GoPro, this is my GoPro 7 here. I'm talking about my GoPro 9. But anyway, I had it recording awesome footage, and I was getting ready to come across this other mountain range, and as I looked in the mirror to check to make sure the camera was still rolling, I saw this funky little red symbol on there. Not the recording symbol in the top, but this was kind of like on the side. And I was like, what in the world is that? And I got closer to the mirror trying to see it, but of course with the glasses, bad vision, age, all that stuff, I couldn't see it. So I pulled over and took my helmet off, and the worst nightmare that any moto vlogger could have is seeing data corrupted, right? So I'm like, no. So I actually take my helmet off, take the camera, take a closer look at the camera, and sure enough, data's corrupted. So I turned the camera off, turned it back on, reset, look, trying to play the data, whatever. No, gone, right? So, and I had this amazing back road route that I designed to get to Vicenza. And of course, after I lost all my data, I was like, man, this is a wrap. Forget it. Let's just do the autostrada, get there, rest, whatever the case may be, right? So I get home. Not home, but I get here in the hotel, and I'm fumbling with the card, this and that, whatever. I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with this? So I have my my WD My Passport uploader. I don't know the proper name of it. The WD My Passport external drive that I can load my data into every night. So I take the card out of the GoPro 9 and slide it into My Passport, and it starts loading. And I'm like, okay, what is wrong? What is wrong? Okay, this is good. This is very good. So after it completed loading, I take it out of my passport, put it back in the camera, and then the files are readable again. So I'm like, whoo, man, thank you, Jesus, as they say. So I have the first 3 days of travel. It's good, but the problem that incurred is not with the SD card, but it's with the camera itself. And I'm talking specifically about the GoPro 9. All of the other cameras I've had, the GoPro 3, 4, 5, 6, and even the 7, I jack in a USB cord and have that to the bike so I can have continuous power, right? And there's no problem with that. Well, with the GoPro 9, if you have an external power source, for whatever reason, that energy is still trying to go to the battery. And what that does is it overheats the battery. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can, but here's the battery here. And there's where the USB slides in. Well, when you're rolling and it's laying continuous power to the GoPro 9, this battery is getting hot. And I mean, it gets real hot because for whatever reason, it's still trying to take that charge. Well, that little silver part right there, and most of you that have a GoPro, any GoPro, you already know that little silver thing, that's where the SD card is. Well, with the battery getting excessively hot, the SD card was getting excessively hot as well. And that's when it started reading corrupted data because it couldn't read the video chip. At the time, I didn't know it, so, turn the camera off, get it home, 3-4 hours later, when the SD card cooled back down to normal temps, it was readable again. So when it said corrupted data, it wasn't the card, but the fault is basically in the camera itself. Not that the camera is bad, but for whatever reason, the battery does not, automatically stop taking a charge when it's full or something like that. I hope I'm making sense. But if not, I'm pretty sure you guys get the gist of what I'm talking about. So one of the things you can do if you have continuous power to your GoPro 9 is basically remove the battery and remove the battery, have your USB charger in there, and it'll still record. And what that does is it stops the mistake. And what that does is it stops the battery from overheating and thus heating your SD card. Okay, so that's the tip of the day from Tony Rayno. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll get that to you. So that is the first do's and don'ts. So don't have your battery plugged in when you do have a USB cord for continuous power. The second thing I learned yesterday, and these two things I learned yesterday. The second thing I learned yesterday, and normally I always fill up when I get to a half a tank of gas, or I start looking for a gas station. Well, here in Italy, especially for the Americans, we have this gas card that can be used with any or an Egypt gas station. And those are the two I specifically look for. So as I'm coming around at half a tank, I see a Esso gas station, and I'm thinking, well, I'm sure there's an Eni or an Egypt gas station on the autostrada somewhere, right? So I'm rolling, and I forget that I'm at half a tank. Next thing you know, I look down, and I'm at one line above a quarter of a tank. Ooh, panic starts setting in. So I'm going and going and going, and no gas station in sight. And then my need gas light comes on, and I'm like, oh, SHIT, right? So pull out the GoPro, plug in gas station to see where, the closest gas station is. And I'm like, oh crap, hope I can make it, because the closest one is about about 4 or 5 miles away, but I'd been driving for a while with the need gas light on, and this is on my Honda Goldwing. So to make a long story short, within 5 miles, I made it to the gas station and got gas, and I was on fumes. I was on fumes. So the lesson learned here is stick to what you know. And what I knew was to fill up at half a tank. No matter what gas station you're at or whatever the case may be, when you're traveling in the distance or traveling on back roads, fill up at a half a tank, and that way you'll ensure that you always have gas. Not ensure you always have gas, because hey, things do happen. Now I know some people carry an external little small portable gas container for extra gas, which I thought about doing. I wish I had done that. So maybe before I leave Vicenza, I'll go to the Autoport station and try and see if I can find a small gas can, something like that, just for emergency purposes. Like I say, as a rule of thumb, I fill up at half a tank, but there are those occasions where things happen, like yesterday. So that's tip number 2 from Tony Reno. Fill up at a half a tank if you're out in the wilderness. Not wilderness, but if you're getting ready to go into the outback. And strangely enough, before I started off yesterday, I was getting ready to go into the hills, and I was at half a tank, and I'm like, man, you know better than this. Turn around and get some gas and then go. And I did. So when I passed that last gas station, I should have known better. I really should have known better, but all is good. The other thing, Goldwing specific issues. I have a 2016 Honda Goldwing GL 1800, and when I came to the Alps in 2019, I was double dark-sided, and double dark-sided means you have a car tire on the rear and you have a rear motorcycle tire on the front of the Goldwing. That's called double dark-siding. Now the front tire is the same spec size as a regular front motorcycle, is just more rubber, and of course the car tire has a flatter profile. It wasn't anything difficult because I got used to the way the bike felt, and I'll have another video on this shortly, especially as soon as I get home. Like I said, I got used to the feel of the bike, so I knew what to expect, and knew how to give a little bit more counter steering. The problem with double dark siding, or for me, specifically for me, and I don't know if anybody else is having this issue, but my problem with it was, one, when I was going down the road, and if there were ruts in the road, the bike would actually track on those ruts. Nothing too serious. It just drift a little bit, and you have to do a little bit more counter steering to correct or autocorrect, however you want to call it, your line of travel. The second thing for me, double dark siding, is when I'm doing slow speed maneuvers. When you're doing slow speed maneuvers on a double dark sided Goldwing, I don't know if this is the same for just a regular dark sided Goldwing, which is a normal motorcycle tire on the front and car tire on the rear. But for me, double dark siding. The problem I had with the slow maneuvers was I had to give more counter steering to make it around the turn. And it was something you always had to think about, because if you just try to do a normal turn, you could actually feel the difference in the bike. I'm not saying that you couldn't make the turn, because in all occasions I did, but it was still just that extra thing that I had to think about, and with one of my mantras being the simplicity of the ride, that's not simple to me. So for this trip, I switched back to regular motorcycle tires just to see if there was a difference in the traveling and the flow of the bike. And when I put the motorcycle tires back on the bike and started riding, it was immediate relief. I mean, relief as in the bike is doing what the bike is supposed to do. I mean, the first turn, and it is so, everything is just better. Turning is better. Um, the way the bike handle ruts in the road is better. And more importantly, I feel better with motorcycle tires. Now, please, people, don't send me a lot of hate mails on how you ride with double dark siding and you're the best rider and you know people that can clean my clock with being double dark sided. It's true. It probably is. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how I feel on my bike with motorcycle tires. Yes, I got used to being double dark sided, but when I went back to motorcycle tires, there was nothing to get used to. Everything was just automatic. And the bike felt good. The bike felt better. And to put things in perspective, I'm riding my ass off on the Gold Wing. You know, I don't have anything extra to think about. On my Gold Wing, when I say it is the simplicity of the ride, being back on motorcycle tires is giving me that simplicity of the ride. Again, for all you dark wingers, look, I get it. I understand the need for being double dark sided, especially if you're traveling super long distance or if you're pulling a trailer, you know, I get it. But serious back road riding, I mean if you're really moving on your Gold Wing, my suggestion is to just keep regular motorcycle tires on the Gold Wing. I mean, it just makes it better. Now that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm going to have another video on Gold Wing dark siding here, you know, later, sometime in the future, as soon as I get home or as soon as I get back to California. I don't know when, but it's coming, people. It's coming. So that's tip number 3 from Tony Rayno. If you're on a Gold Wing or any other big touring bike and you plan on hitting some back roads, oh, excuse me. See, normally I would edit that out, right? But if you're on some back roads, do yourself a favor. Slap them motorcycle tires on there and let me know how it feels. Because I'm telling you, you're going to feel better. All right, yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. Let me get this, sorry. And I'm back. Sorry about that. You know, I hope this comes out right, because it's the first time I've recorded on my laptop. But okay, the second tip, when you, and this is especially for long touring, touring in the Alps or wherever you may be going, have a plan. Now, have a plan, but at the same time, be fluid with that plan. And the reason a plan is important is because when you have a plan, you rule out any unnecessary directions, if I can say. Meaning you don't, you know, if you don't know where you're going, then you have to stop and you got to pull out your GoPro. Yeah, well, no, not GoPro, but you have to pull out your phone for your Google Maps, or you have to check your navigation system, or in some cases, like us old school people, if we pull out that map, that, you know, that paper map that we used to travel with and look for where we're going, you know. But if everything is written down, or if it's plugged into your GPS already, then you know where you're going, right? And I say be fluid because if you have a plan, if it's in your GPS and you're like, man, okay, oh, look at this road over here, and you want to go check it out, you can go check that road out and your GPS will automatically reroute you to another location. Now, depending on the settings that you have your navigation system on, it could take you on some dirt roads, could take you on some rocky roads, or it could take you somewhere where you don't want to go, like I have been many times on my Gold Wing. But the beauty of that is you can turn around and come right back to your detour point, and your GPS will pick up from where you left off and automatically take you where you want to go. And that's what I mean by have a plan and be fluid, because on this tour right now, I mean, I have my plan. I have these set places where I wanted to go, but with the nature of me being by myself, again, this time it's, I'm being real fluid, just real fluid, just going and experiencing roads and passes that I've never done. Like one thing is I plan on completing the Großglockner. That's where I'm supposed to be today, but behold, the rain has prevented me from doing that today. Not that I don't ride in the rain, but after 3 days of travel and, just feeling a little tired, the fatigue factor plus the rain is a bad mix. So I opted to listen to my body and just say, you know what, just chill for the day. You're not in any rush. So that's what I'm doing. I'm chilling. And as I'm chilling, I figured I'd make a video for you, the viewer. That is that. And that leads into the last thing that I have, which is when you're on a tour or day riding or any type of ride, remember to rest. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't take time out, whether it's lunch or whether it's a cafe or a little snack or something, even if it's an hour ride, stop within 15, 20 minutes or whatever and just chill. Enjoy the surroundings. If you're on a 2-week ride, I would highly recommend to add in a couple of rest days, a rest day to where you're not on the bike. Now you can get up, you can walk around, you can check out some sights or something like that, but remember to rest because you are human. And that battery that we have that's always charged because we're just, oh man, I want to see this, I want to see that, I want to see this, that gets drained. And if you're not listening to that sign in your head that says, yo man, chill, have some rest, it could be a very serious consequence. You know what I mean? So tomorrow, rain or shine, providing it's not severe thunderstorms, I'm gonna roll out because my head is clear, my body is well rested, and that battery is fully charged again, as well as the GoPro 9. So those are the, I guess, some kind of do's and don'ts that I wanted to give you with this vlog. And if you haven't been following me on Facebook or Instagram or just YouTube in general, then you guys know that sometime in June, I will be departing Sicily back for the United States of America because our contract is over. And I couldn't find anything that's going to keep me here. And Aretha and I had thought about retiring in Portugal or probably northern Italy. But at the end of the day, we can always get back here. And we are thinking about our moms. Let's be real. Our moms are getting up there, and we want to have these last days, I guess you will, at least to be in almost constant contact. The original plan is to go back to California, but if things don't pan out, then maybe I'll be on maybe I'll be on the East Coast somewhere. I don't know, we'll see. But the first stop is California, and we'll go from there. So until next time, people, that's about all I have for you. Be sure to be checking out Facebook and Instagrams, because as I'm on this tour for the next week and a half or so, I'll be dropping pictures and dropping little videos and things and places about where I am and all that good stuff, and hopefully bringing you something that you want to see. Right now it's just gray skies. But anyway, people, oh man, whew. Yeah, see, that's a sign that's a sign that I still need to chill. Excuse me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I had to get my closeout notes here. So, or not closeout notes because I've already done them. See, again, if I was at home, I could edit all this stuff out, right? But no, not today. So let's try to get this uploaded today, being the 23rd of May, 2021. So until I hit you up again, people, this has been Tony Rayno from Two Will for Fun. Over 50, still on 2, and loving it. And do I dare say, in this life, live this life. As for motorcycling, it is the simplicity of the ride. Check you later. Peace.